for today's cup of coffee, Freeform.
Freeform.
We're going to be talking about horror.
Horror.
And we are in a time where
Horror.
there is so much horror. I mean, it's been crazy. Just trying to find stories the past week, news stories. The paranormal, per se, has not even had a chance, as opposed to all the dog and pony show that's going on in the world today. It has been insane.
The legitimate horror show that is going on.
Yeah. So it's just been nuts. So we decided just to talk about the subject of horror. Not as the world knows it, but within the genre, the horror genre.
Yeah.
Books, movies, musics, games, yeah. And how that can be cathartic.
Yeah. Yes.
Because it's almost like facing fears, and it's always been one of the things I loved most about Halloween.
It's getting out the adrenaline.
Yeah.
Adrenalize me.
Like I said, to make fun of fear.
Yeah.
And you've got a lot of people that are, they're missing the point of it, that it's one of those that they are afraid of Halloween. That Halloween is summoning something. No, Halloween is to banish things.
Halloween.
And it's like, what has been summoned has already been summoned, and it wasn't on Halloween.
Yeah, you cannot unsummon.
No, what has already been summoned, it is a matter of spiritual warfare.
Mm-hmm. You can't close doors that have been opened.
No, we can't.
I mean, you
humans,
can't.
But it's God's got to do what He's going to do.
Only God can close those doors.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And at some point, those doors will be sealed forever.
Yeah.
But until then, we can have the catharsis. And a catharsis is something that helps you get something out and to deal with a subject, often in a humorous way, or look at things differently.
I have not played a legitimate horror game in a long time.
Maybe you should.
Maybe.
But it's like, if you have a book, you can become very engrossed in that book. And if it's too intense, you can close it.
That's true. Yeah.
Same thing with a movie.
Or a game, you can exit out.
If it gets too much. And that's what we all go in with, the understanding that books, movies, anything like that, we are willing participants to being basically emotionally manipulated to go through the story.
Yes.
It is that suspension of belief, and there have been times...
Manipulation 101.
Yeah, there have been times that I have issues with the suspension of belief if there are some of these blatant, stupid mistakes that have been made in a movie.
Like,
and it's
give
like,
me an example.
God. Oh, I can't think of one right now. I would have. There's millions of them, but
just pull one out of your ass.
I don't know. I mean, like when they're talking about if it's a medical something, they're not as prone to do that today as they used to. A lot of times they counted on the ignorance of the audience.
Like, you can't depend on Grey's Anatomy to be 100% accurate.
No,
for
but
medical study.
No, but on some of it, it's probably more accurate than the doctors that people see today. If you can Google search WebMD,
yeah,
then you've got a good chance of helping yourself. I can't remember one right off the top of my head. I really can't. But just things like that are erroneous. That anybody with the least amount of knowledge on something...
Anybody with two brain cells rubbing together.
It's like, that is not how that works. That is not... When somebody reveals their ignorance and you're like, it's like, hey, go back and do a little bit of research on this.
Yeah.
But that's just like, I enjoy these things. I do, because that has always been something that, as somebody who had night terrors
Mm-hmm.
for a long time, if I watched horror stuff, and I don't watch it, I don't watch it that much anymore. Maybe it's because I do read the news. But what would happen is, if I watched the horror stuff, I didn't have the night terrors.
Yeah.
I don't know how that worked. I don't know if it was just a matter of saturation
I
or
think that's
what.
maybe it gets that out.
Yeah. And maybe I just don't have the need for it the way that I used to. I have this appreciation. Have always loved Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a point in time for these things. And a lot of times people's like, oh, that's going to cause you to do this stuff. That's going to cause you to have bad thoughts or whatever. That has not been proven. Even with the video games. And video games have been accused of some heinous things over the years.
Literally. They have been
And
dragged across the coals
they
and
really
blamed
have.
for everything.
And I will admit, there was a point in time that I was one in my ignorance that's like, oh, this is going to cause people to be aggressive, or it's going to cause them to do different things like that. And then I went back and edified myself with research and found out that I was very much wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That it does have a cathartic effect. That if somebody is doing whatever in a video game, they're not going to go out here and do this in real life.
Yeah.
Now, you've always got people that have mental illness. I don't care what anybody says. It's, if a person is mentally ill and is not receiving proper treatment, then it doesn't matter. They could, like, little bunny foo-foo or whatever, that can trigger them.
Exactly. If someone is truly mentally disturbed, they're going to snap regardless if they play a video game or not.
Right, or anything else. Because their thinking is diseased.
Yeah.
And so everybody wants to blame whatever.
I mean, you got to think, some of those famous serial killers, have they ever touched a video game in their life? Have any of them touched a single video game in their life? No, because they weren't around.
Well, it's not just the video games. I have heard things blamed as far as the horror movies, music. You had that back during the satanic panic that whoever's kid had offed himself, which is horribly tragic, but it was not due to some kind of lyric by Judas Priest or Ozzy or whoever it was that they were blaming at the time. It was probably poor old Ozzy, because his stuff, he got blamed for a lot of shit.
My God.
And
there was some sort of skit on Adult Swim that was based off of that.
I'm sure there was.
Yeah, the dude went to the hospital and it was like that. I think the song lyrics, like, they changed it to "Die Die Again" or "Try Try Again" or something like that.
Right. But it's like, somebody who is going to be swayed by something like that is having issues. They're having severe issues. And you cannot protect one or two. Now, this is just hard, cold truth. You can't protect one or two by punishing billions. That's silly. And it's not going to work, and it's going to piss off eventually the billions.
Yeah.
Who get tired of being punished for other people's bad behavior. So, horror in a controlled form. We can't do anything about some of the things that's being portrayed. And none of us know the truth on this stuff. None of us.
Personally, I like to enjoy my horror sometimes in a, what's it called? Peanut gallery?
Yeah.
Version?
Sure, where you can sit there, especially if it's a horror movie that you've seen over and over.
Yeah.
And you change the dialogue on it.
Like, for example, you're watching Movie Macabre.
Mm-hmm.
And so, well, Elvira's already making fun of it. Well, might as well make fun of the movie along with it.
Sure. What wasn't that one that we watched a few nights back. There was one of those old black and white films. Oh, I can't remember. It was great.
Slime people.
Slime People?
Yeah, slime
Yeah.
people.
It was one of those from the 50s. It
Slime
was
people. It was bad. It was a bad movie,
it
but it
was
was
so bad
good.
it was good.
Yeah.
And so things like that.
It was
Even as
Plan 9 from Outer Space is still beat it though.
God, that took me years before I could make it through the whole thing because there's cringe and then that was
I still haven't made I
cringe.
still haven't got to Vampires part.
It's just like I said, there
And
was
she just had a
cringe and then there was
cameo.
cringe. After I watched the movie about Ed Wood, that was what I was able finally to watch Plan 9 in totality.
It's a bad film.
But even the things that I don't particularly like the Saw movies, I can see how that could be cathartic for someone. As far as there was a method to dude's madness. Spoiler alert.
Well, in the beginning there was a method to his madness, and then as the movies went on, it just he just did it for the fuck of it.
Well, it was just
And then
for vengeance.
the other people did it just for the fuck of it.
It was vengeance, the ones that I had,
It was torture porn after the
I don't...
third or fourth movie.
I don't know. I saw the first one, and after that I was done. But it was a matter of... And there are some people that they can sit and they can enjoy the special effects, and then that's it. Then they go about their day. I don't know that any of those are going to prompt somebody to doing something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that's going to do something like that, is not going to need a movie.
I mean, personally, the Saw movies kind of traumatized me and made me scared of people, not want to hurt them.
Just to avoid them?
Yeah, it made me want to avoid people, not want to hurt them.
Well, it's a matter of being aware, and there's a lot of telltale signs of who you need to be around, who you don't. Trust your gut.
Yeah.
And the ones that, if somebody's telling you everything you want to hear,
but at a certain point,
that's a red flag right there.
At a certain point, though, the Saw movies did just get downright goofy.
Yeah, I think on some of
it... They did, because, seriously, the dude got his head, in one of the movies, got his head split open like a bloomin' onion. With lasers.
Well, yeah.
And, literally,
Ew.
and a human head does not peel open like that. The skull does not peel open, does not flex like that.
Now, see, that would have been one of the things that would have bothered me because of the inaccuracy of it.
It literally does not flex.
Right.
Yeah.
See, now that's the type of thing that I was discussing earlier. It's like, nah, that's silly. That is just silly. But horror as catharsis,
said, it just got downright goofy.
It's
he deserved it, but he downright goofy.
I've been listening to Ozzy since 80s, early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Different people like that. Music never inspired me to do anything.
Yeah.
Same thing with watching any of the horror movies. Help me work through some stuff. So
I like the horror movies that are more fun than stressful now.
I do too.
I really do.
But there's always that need for that genre.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be there. It's just like telling campfire stories, ghost stories. That is part of humanity. It's an important part to try to deal with what can't be controlled. To put these things in a form, into lore and mythology, and yeah. And to teach people how to deal with things. Sometimes what not to do. That's the beauty of the Grimm's fairy tales. The real ones, not this sanitized version.
Well, the thing is, even the Grimm's fairy tales said that those weren't even the originals. They rewrote them.
That they were too graphic.
Yeah. Sometimes
God
they even
help.
rewrote them, made them like even.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But when you go back and you think about how some of these people lived, I mean, just total brutality.
Mm-hmm. Like, these were not gentle people.
That's humanity. That is humanity. It's just like they want to make nature into something that's cute and furry and fuzzy, and that is not nature. It's not how that works.
I don't know. I'm looking at the two things in the box right now.
Yes, Mama Kitty and Baby Kitty.
Yeah.
And you know what?
That's nature.
Yes, but they're cute and they're furry and they are natural born killers.
They are, and they will.
They are
hurt.
cats are some of the
They
most
will rip us
effective.
to shreds.
Cats are some of the most effective killers on the planet. For real.
They are. And they will rip us to shreds. They won't kill us, but they will rip us to shreds.
So, horror. Enjoy a scary story. Enjoy a scary game. It can help get the fear out of you. Yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy it.
Enjoy it. Deal with controlled fear. Don't read the news this weekend. Just get rid of that shit. Control what you can. Do what you can with what's in front of you. What you can't control. Don't let that eat you up. I see this. People are allowing this stuff to eat at them. That's not healthy.
High key, during this time, just don't pay attention to the news in general.
Right.
Just seriously, just don't.
Right.
Until Biden's out of office or something, seriously, don't pay attention to the news.
And we can speculate.
Until shit's better, don't pay attention.
The news is fear porn. It truly is. That's how they, as far as clicks or subscriptions or whatever the hell they're doing these days, that is what they do.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, horror as a catharsis. Don't be summoning no Cthulhu.
I'd be screaming my lungs out.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I'd be screaming my lungs out sometimes.
On some of the horror flicks?
Just the videos that we watch.
Mm-hmm.
Watching Markiplier play the games.
Games.
I'm literally just over here. You're doing whatever the fuck on your computer. You're doing whatever fuckery. Like, we're done with the videos. Like, the video's uploaded it sometimes. Like, we're done. But you're still on the computer sometimes. But we're watching the video. But, like... And I'll be screaming. And you're just over there like, what? But I'm, like, screaming my lungs out. Like, having a...
jump scares.
Just like, ah! Like, seriously.
The jump scares are pretty fun sometimes.
Yeah.
And then we can laugh. That's usually what happens after the scary stuff is over. You can laugh. Like I said, you can, click the button, turn it off, close the book, whatever. And feel better and then go on about your day.
Yeah. Literally when the video's over, literally when the jump scare's over, I'm all right.
Yeah. I think that's most people.
Yeah.
And
when the video continues, I'm all right.
Yeah.
Everybody else is. Because it's fun.
That are people and families. What is always fun is for families to get together and write a story.
Mm-hmm.
To start out with, it was a dark and stormy night. And then go around and everybody adds a sentence.
Ad-lib it.
Yeah. And it can be a really cool thing.
But it can also end up in a whole world of fuckery.
It can. It can. But it's fun stuff. That's the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Final thoughts on horror being cathartic?
Scream. Scream your lungs out. That's all I have to say.
If you've had experiences with paranormal, supernatural encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, if you have favorite horror stories, movies, musics, whatever, put those in the comments. I will eventually get around to the emails. cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com, and that will be in the description box.
And if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and most of all, subscribe and click that notification button for daily notifications of our daily uploads. Thank you all and have a good.
Know that you're loved. And Lord willing, we'll see you on the next go.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.